begin with breaking news.
And that breaking news tonight, we are continuing to follow that deadly terrorist attack in New Orleans. You've just been listening to President Joe Biden on the latest on the FBI's investigation. And I want to show you a live look now at the scene in New Orleans tonight, where we have learned that at least 15 people have been killed in that attack. We received that update from the New Orleans coroner's office this evening, and here are 3 more things to know. First, the FBI says it believes the suspect in this case did not act alone. The FBI also says it's now investigating this as an act of terrorism. The suspect is dead, and investigators say they found an ISIS flag on the back of the truck he was driving. Police say he intentionally rammed that pickup truck into the crowd full of people celebrating the new year and then got out and shot at officers after he crashed. And finally, the 2024 All-State Sugar Bowl has been postponed as a result of this terror attack until tomorrow. Sports Director Chris Porter joins us now. Chris, just a devastating scene there in New Orleans. And I know that decision to delay the game was not taken lightly.
Absolutely not. It would have been difficult to play this game in lieu of what has happened. The college football playoff quarterfinal in New Orleans has been postponed until tomorrow afternoon at 4 o'clock. The game originally was scheduled to be played tonight at 8:45 at the 70,000-seat Superdome. Sugar Bowl CEO Jeff Hundley says all parties agree that it was in the best interest of the public to push the game back 24 hours for Thursday afternoon. Louisiana's governor says he'll attend the Sugar Bowl and is confident the area in and around the Superdome will be safe. Now, there are a lot of Georgia and Notre Dame fans in the Big Easy for the now postponed Sugar Bowl. That includes the president of the Jacksonville Bulldog Club, the largest Bulldog club in the nation. Our Zach Wilcox continues our team coverage. He spoke with the Bulldog Club president today, and he says he was in the area of the attack just minutes before it happened.
The president of the Jacksonville Bulldog Club told me that he turned in just before the attack, but he woke up to calls and texts from just about everyone that he knew, trying to make sure that he was okay. He said initially he thought it was his alarm going off because there were just so many, which really drove home just how much of a close call it was.
As you can tell by my voice, I was having fun while I was out.
As the president of the Jacksonville Bulldog Club, the largest UGA fan club in the country, Tyson Lassen is a frequent face at Bulldog games.
I love my dogs. I've been to 9 games this year. I try not to miss any.
The fact he got to ring in the new year in a place like New Orleans before seeing his dogs in the Sugar Bowl was just icing on top. That was before he woke up to the news of the attack on Bourbon Street, right where he spent the first few hours of the new year.
Needed to get away from the big crowd to get to an Uber or get to a place where our Uber could find us. So we actually crossed the intersection of Bourbon and Canal about 15-20 minutes before it happened.
Lassen says his plan was to walk his wife to the Uber, then head back out to stretch the night out a little longer.
I would have walked her and dropped her off at Uber and turned around. We would have been right there in it. So I'm glad we left when we did. Usually that's not like me, but I had such a long day. I was like, it probably is good to get some sleep.
After checking in with his family and friends to let them know he was okay, Lassen's attention shifted to his fellow Bulldog fan club members.
Since we have about 700 members in the club, I'd imagine there are a handful of members that are, out here in New Orleans and Bourbon Street, or at least on their way. So we're doing our best to make sure everyone's accounted for and everyone's safe.
He's still looking forward to the game, but admits it'll be tough to take his mind away from the tragedy.
My heart goes out to everybody who's been affected. I'm glad we left when we did, but it's definitely a eerie vibe around here in New Orleans today.
We found out that the game had been postponed after I interviewed Lassen, so I reached back out to him just to see if he's still planning on going. He said he's trying to figure that out right now, if he's going to be able to stick around long enough to go to the game, but he said it's hard to complain about a spoiled vacation when so many lives were lost. In downtown, Zach Wilcox, First Coast News, on your side.
Tonight, we've learned that a student from the University of Georgia is among the people injured in what's being called a terrorist attack. In a statement, UGA's president says the student was critically injured and is recovering or receiving treatment. The school officials also told us they've accounted for all personnel and football team members. But again, Heather, we must keep these family members in our prayers.
Absolutely. A lot of grieving families tonight. Chris, thank you for that update. Also breaking tonight, police are treating a car explosion at a Trump Las Vegas hotel as a possible act of terror. A Cybertruck exploded today, killing the driver and injuring 7 others. We've learned that the driver pulled into the valet area of that hotel and then the truck exploded. Investigators at this point are still trying to figure out the cause of the explosion and if the driver intended to set it off. And just in the past few hours, multiple law enforcement sources are telling ABC News that the cyber truck was rented on the Turo app. Now, why that's important is because that's the same app that was used to rent the pickup truck in the New Orleans attack. And just moments ago, we heard President Biden say that investigators have not yet determined if what happened in Vegas is connected to what happened in New Orleans.